welcome to the Phriends Club Podcast. We are your hosts. My name is Fizz.
My name is Charlotte.
And welcome back to the show. It's just
Hi,
us
everybody.
today.
Just us, no
Hi.
guest.
No
Sorry,
guest.
guys.
Sorry,
But thank you all so much for, I was going to say the
Mm.
feedback. We didn't actually get that much feedback on the episode, but it's nice to know that people, I think I did a poll actually on the episode asking if we should get more guests on, and everyone voted yes.
Mm-mm.
So I'm taking that as feedback that it was a good episode.
Yes, I think people who did listen did like it, and we did put out a request like, please, very seriously, if you want to come on the pod and talk about video. You have heard now twice that it is so chill and so fun. So if you ever want to do that, please hit us up, DM us.
Yeah, like we'd never spoken to Lexi before, either of us, before that record. And I feel like you couldn't tell. It was all so chill. That's what's so wonderful about being in the fandom is, you know, we're all just a fan of these two guys. So there's already the common ground there.
So welcome to the show. We thought before we got into the video, we'd actually talk about what's been happening in the fandom right now and with Dan and Phil. Sort of like a new segment introduction, right, Charlotte?
We'll come up with a fun, catchy title for it, but at the minute it's what's in the Dan and Phil news this week.
This week.
We'll workshop it. We can workshop it and come up with a good title.
Yeah. All right, so what's been happening this week?
So we're currently recording this on the 27th of February. Dan has just had his live stream or live premiere of We're All Doomed, which is very exciting.
It is very exciting. I completely missed it. Very proud of it. I completely missed it. So sorry, Dan. It happened at like 2 a.m.
And you didn't stay up for it?
I'm so sorry. I'm no longer a high schooler. I have a job. But I am going to catch the recording of it for sure. I will not be a fake fan. I'm going to catch it. But
yes.
So proud of Dan. So proud of Dan.
Incredible, yeah. I didn't watch it either. I was out. I had plans that I've had booked since like November last year. So thanks, Dan. I think he did that personally against me because I couldn't be there.
Which is hilarious because you were mentioned. Yeah, you were mentioned like twice or thrice or a million times. Yeah.
That's a brag, guys, but I was mentioned 3 times in that stream. What on earth is going on? I don't understand at all. I have managed to watch the clips of that, so that was very nice to watch and sort of be like, oh my god, I can't believe that this has actually happened to me. I came off, after I'd seen the show that I went to see on Sunday, I came onto Twitter and just had like thousands and millions of messages from my friends being like, oh my god, Charlotte, like, where are you? I can't believe you're not watching this.
Yeah, because everyone knew as well that you weren't watching because you were like, oh, if something happens, let me know. And something did happen. The next day and I just, something very much happened. I woke up the next day and I was like, oh, I should probably catch up. Like, I want to see what my friends are saying. And I got these out of context tweets of you just being like, huh? What? What's happening? And yeah, it was really fun. It was really fun to go back and watch that chaos happen.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Other than that, I think that's all Dan and Phil have been up to. I think they're probably going to have a quiet week now that they've done that. Pretty chill. Editing Charlotte here, just popping in to say if we could all take a moment to appreciate the irony of me saying I think they're going to have a quiet week and then 2 days later for them to drop not only a new gaming video but also a Dan and Phil album on Spotify. Thank you, Dan and Phil, for always being able to prove me wrong. Very much appreciated. Now back to the actual episode.
They've been uploading pretty consistently. That's like one thing of note, I guess.
They have, yeah. We had some great videos from them last week, which, again, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. They're just uploading so many, I can't remember. what videos they're uploading.
That's so true. The only one I remember is the TikTok likes one, which I think is the low quality one.
Yes, that was incredible.
Like, such good content.
Oh, and Phil uploaded him reacting to his terrible acting, which absolutely top tier content.
Yes,
that was so good.
Yes, I also really love.
Are we classing that as joint content when we get to it? Dan's little 2-minute cameo?
I think we need to, because I think a lot of Phil's acting career also included Dan. And so
that's true, yeah.
I think that makes it joint content in a way.
Okay. Yeah, so we had that, and then we're forcing Dan to watch all my TikTok likes. They're really giving us what we want. They're giving the people what they want.
Yeah, this is interactive introverts 2.0.
2.0. Yeah. But they're happier, and they're also giving us the content that they want.
Yes, exactly. I think that's what it is. I think they're just making videos that they really, really want to, with no thoughts, just vibes.
And I'm so happy for them. I'm here for it.
Same. All right. Shall we?
So,
yeah.
Forget Dan and Phil in 2024. What were Dan and Phil doing in 2012, Fizz? And what video are we talking about today?
In 2012?
2012, yes, that's the year that I meant. 2012.
The actual year that has happened. In 2012, we script these guys. These are scripts. It's okay.
It's been a long day.
It's been a long Tuesday. So in 2012, Dan and Phil, around this time, we had discussed this in the episode before the last one. They were prepping for the Teen Awards, their very first Teen Awards, I should say. And this video, which I should probably mention the name, today we're talking about Halloween baking. What's it called? Brownie Graveyard. Yes, I only read
Brownie Graveyard.
I only read the first.
That's the one.
Yeah, I only read the first part of that. Which is their first Halloween baking video, and their first baking video in a while. I think since 2010, 2011. Since the Manchester flat.
Yeah, it was the last one. The pancake. Was the last one. The Christmas cookies, I think.
I'm trying to recall by hair. I think it was
Christmas cookies.
Yes, I think that was in the joint apartment, wasn't it? Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
Incredibly insane. But this started like a long-standing tradition that has gone up until 2023, technically, because we had the return of Halloween baking, as we know.
We did.
Yes.
Which we've talked about before on the pod. If you haven't listened to that episode, go back and give it a listen. It was a really, really fun, chaotic one.
Yes, really, really. It was. But yeah, so this video was uploaded on Halloween, as far as I know, if time zones are...
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So the 31st of October, 2012. A little bit of a Fizz history lesson. This was the first upload after I started watching them. I don't...
Wow, what a good upload as well.
I know, I got joint content like immediately. But I don't have
They knew you were watching.
Literally. I don't have any tweets about the video. I barely have any tweets about them in 2012, but I do have my first ever tweet about Phil. I didn't really tweet about Dan yet, but it was on the 30th of October. For some reason, at midnight my time, I wanted to say Phil Lester is probably one of the most adorable people on the internet I have ever seen in my entire life. Still true. Still very much true.
You would be correct.
Yes.
Yeah, still true.
Yep. But
he's kept up that branding.
He really has. So good for me. I'm officially a fanny. We've reached that point.
So I had a little quick flick through Phil's tweets from October 2012, and literally I think in the middle of October they had their first appearance on Channel 4 News.
Whoa.
I don't know if you remember this, or if you remember looking back on it. So they'd had an interviewer come to their house, and then I think it was broadcast on like the next day. I think it was just a little small piece about YouTubers, because I suppose this was like the big boom of
just
YouTubers.
The beginning, yeah.
And it was this whole piece, it was this whole piece about what a YouTuber is. What does a YouTuber do? The interviewer seemed like really nice. Dan got her to do, because I watched the clip of it. Dan got her to do a note for his super note challenge.
Yeah. I think I remember this.
And it was so funny. There's this quote from her. So she sat in front of the camera in Dan's bedroom, and she's like, does her note, and there's like a voiceover of her going, "I don't really understand why I'm doing this." And I just found it so stupid because she sounded so completely clueless as to what like YouTube was as a concept.
It was just so funny to see how far we've come in terms of like challenges and stuff like that.
I know, yeah.
And people just do it without thinking now. Yeah. Whoa. People should look up the Llama Army stuff just as a side note. Really funny that he got like random people to do it.
Also, Dan and Phil were in their YouNow era at this point, so they were YouNowing every week. I found a live show that they'd done just after the Channel 4 News segment had been like shown live on TV. It was a joint live show with him and Dan, Phil and Dan. I don't know why I said it, Phil and Dan. That sounds so bizarre. I think it's because it was on Phil's YouNow, so it was Phil and Dan.
Oh, right.
It was. I haven't watched any of their old live shows in so long, but I just put this on. I watched it on like triple speed just to sort of have a flick through and see if there was anything interesting. This was just one of the many from October, but it was just really funny, and I just wanted to put some notes. So they spent a good 5 to 10 minutes singing a song from Phantom of the Opera on that Lips video game. Yeah, on that Lips video game for the Wii, I think, or the PlayStation. I don't know what console it's on. Again, we're not gamer girls. I don't know. But they mentioned the game Lips, and then I remembered they talked about this in their most recent What Dan and Phil Text Each Other, because they spent like hours of their life singing that Lady Gaga song. What one was it? People are shouting at me.
I just know the disco stick line.
It'll come to me. So yeah, they spent a good 10 minutes singing a song from Phantom of the Opera. Very strange, very weird behaviour. And then, surprisingly, Phil brought up Heartthrob, the game Heartthrob. And I think this is the first time they've ever mentioned it. And they like, oh, we played this game with Brownie. Our friend recommended it to us and we bought it. It's really fun. You should all go and play it. So I think they just got the game in October 2012.
This is insane lore. I don't think even they remember this.
No, and then they played it a little bit on the live show. Like they held up some of the cards of the guys and like chatted about it. I was like, oh my god, this is insane. How far we've come.
Whoa, this is soft launch of the soft launch.
Soft launch, truly.
I don't remember. I remember the Phantom of the Opera thing because the clips from that are like very iconic. But I don't remember the rest of this live show. That's crazy.
But yeah, that's all my notes I have. We can jump into the video now. Now that we've got all that out of the way.
Thank you for the lesson, though. Oh my god.
You're very welcome.
I didn't. As always, historian. Fanny historian.
The Fanny historian on the podcast. That's me.
Alright, yeah. So this is probably the shortest baking video that we've ever done. It's the first one, so it makes sense.
Yeah. And yeah, it still feels very long.
It does, because it's almost 10 minutes long. And Phil did tweet about the fact that it's taking him longer to edit because there's so much footage. Once again, the fact that he said it's so much footage. Exactly, like what did you... Honestly, probably like baking time. And
probably.
Like, probably a lot of quiet moments. It's a very like fast-paced baking video.
Yeah.
But again, what did you cut? Give us the uncut version, please.
So, first off, we have Phil introducing Dan as his glamorous assistant. Love that. And Dan has some stupid entrance, like sort of sidles and like wiggles his way into the video singing. I think it's from Chicago. I think it's from Chicago.
So. I'm not a musical girl.
I'd say I'm like a third of a musical girl, but yeah, maybe not a third, quite a lot actually. Maybe like an 18th.
It does sound musically, so
it is from a musical. I know what the song is, but I can't think what musical it's from. I think it's Chicago. If it's not, someone shout at me.
Yes.
And then again, we have the long-standing tradition with I keep saying gaming video with baking videos of them showing the ingredients in the most ridiculous way possible. These men can't just point a camera at a bag of flour on a work surface. It's got to be flour balanced on Phil's head, 2 eggs birthed from. I feel like Phil says it's birthed.
Hatched by a cat.
Hatched by a cat. There we go.
Yeah.
Just absolutely bizarre.
An egg can never just come from a chicken. It has to be chicken fetus. It has to be hatched by a cat. Just
what is wrong with
actually,
them?
maybe that's better. So many things are wrong with them.
I made a note before that actually. That I forgot. So Phil says that he's combined recipes from Delia Smith, and I think he says Anthony Worrell Thompson. Maybe I've made that up. Who does this man think he is? They have the baking skills of like a 3-year-old. Why are they combining recipes together? Like, what's going on?
No idea. And how did they exactly? Like, how does he have the skills to do that? I have followed this recipe, by the way. This combined recipe makes delicious brownies. Would recommend. Wow. But yeah, I am surprised that Phil managed to do that.
Maybe he's clearly got some skills. And again, we have Dan having a mild breakdown over the fact that they mention Delia Smith.
The branding is strong. Like, it's very much strong. Peak Delia Smith, Llama branding in 2012.
I think we spoke about this. Well. Yeah, we spoke about this last time, but I'm so baffled by how he wasn't gay then, but how a 21-year-old closeted emo man had like associated himself with Delia Smith and how that became part of his brand. That makes absolutely no sense to me.
Yeah, I don't even know where it started from. Like, was it did it start from one of his own solo videos, or was it?
I think so.
Like, I have no idea what you're. I think so, right? Like, I just accepted it as part of his branding. But you're right, like, it's so ridiculous and just like, where did that come from? But all right, okay. I guess you're obsessed with Delia Smith. Yeah.
So bizarre.
Why not? One of my notes is, and I don't know what the context for this is, but I've written, Dan is so loser in this video. And I mean that affectionately. I think he was just being really funny or something. And I was just like, this is such a loser. And it's while they're doing the ingredients. I still have points about the ingredients. So I think I just found him very endearing. And so I said he's like a little loser. Maybe.
I mean, he is a loser. They're both losers, let's be honest.
Let's be real, yes.
They are not cool people
at all. It's Halloween and they are baking, for God's sake. Exactly. Also, my next one is, I'm gonna call Dan out on this one because every baking video, there's a very memorable moment where Dan will be like, "Oh, Phil ate all of the yummy, like extra decoration stuff," but in this one, he says, "We've already eaten all of the white chocolate and the marshmallows and all of that." So it was a joint effort this time. And I feel like now I think Dan must eat them with Phil every time. and he just calls Phil out, and they've like turned it into a bit.
Maybe. I think it just became part of Phil's branding as well, didn't it? Like the whole cereal stealing thing, like him stealing food.
Fair.
And it's probably just easier to blame
Yeah.
Phil. Like, I feel like Phil has no self-restraint if there's sweet food in the house, but I feel like Dan can maybe restrain himself a bit better.
Maybe, yeah. And like, yeah, I guess it does work in their in the little bickering branding side of things.
So I can't remember what this was like in response to, but Dan makes a "that's what she said" joke, and I just want to have a moment of silence for what a wonderful joke that was. Absolutely incredible. We need to bring them back. I feel like the "that's what she said" joke is the like sister of the "your mum" jokes, and I need them to bring them back in 2024.
Yes. Oh my god. I think I remember. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I can't remember. Damn it. I hated the moan when Phil cracked the egg.
Oh, that was disgusting. Yeah, I made a note about that. I was like, when did I write it?
There's multiple, which is so sad. I think there's like multiple moans.
Oh, I think it was at the end when they were putting the like marshmallows and stuff in. Dan makes a noise every time Phil puts something in. And I'm like, why do we need to hear your weird sex noises? Please keep them to yourself.
It's bad enough he does them when he eats the brownies towards the end, but he does this every single time though. Ugh.
Awful.
Awful.
Yeah, Dan smashes the egg. And then the quote that when he smashes the egg, he says, "I'm going to Chris Brown that egg," which I feel is like a quote that like went round the internet and is sort of the most memorable quote from that video.
Is it? I don't know if it's memorable. I mean, it is memorable to me, but I didn't know that it was like a very popular quote.
Maybe I'm just like sort of putting that out there, but I feel like for me, like that was like a quote that people like said a lot. I'm going to Chris Brown that egg. Like that's something that sticks in my head from this video.
Yeah, same though. In a way that like I'm just like, whoa, I don't think we should be saying that, but I laughed at it in 2012. Yeah.
But we know better now, and I don't think Dan would make that joke in 2024.
Yes, agreed. Other things that are very 2012, Ermagerd burners, when he says...
I literally put that as a note. I wrote the quote, Ermagerd burners, and then so 2012.
With like the impact, like the text as well.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Fizz, they just don't do memes like this anymore. Bring them back.
I know. I honestly miss like 2012 humor so much. I feel like I would unironically just be like, oh my god. Is this like the millennial influence on us? Is it because
maybe
we were raised by maybe? Another 2012 thing is when they start baking and they're like, oh, it's this is probably the time that you should tidy up and stuff. And I think Dan goes, that just means go on the internet, which is hilarious because you would have like the whole like the internet in 2012 was such a thing. Like you would go on the internet and not just have it all around you at all times. Whereas now you can just be like, yeah, you just
especially because that's like all they did. Like that was all they were sort of known for, was like, oh, Dan and Phil just go on the internet. Like they just sit at home in their browsing positions on the internet.
Yeah.
So I actually have some notes from before that as well, before we move on to the middle bit of the video. Dan getting excited about doing a Ban Marie. Where this boy learned about what a Ban Marie is, I don't know. Again, they have the baking skills of a 3-year-old combined. Don't know where he's learned about Ban Maries. And then again, on the whole 2012 theme, there's that whole bit where they have that picture of Delia Smith on the screen, and then they both start like praying to her and sing that weird song.
Yes. That is so 2012. The editing
Like,
on that.
and they're like kneeling down and like looking up at this image of Delia Smith.
Mhm.
Thinking about that out of context is so ridiculous. Like, if I clipped that up, just that section of them praying to Delia Smith and singing a song about her, and put that on Twitter, like, if I saw that, I would literally lose my mind. That's so funny. Just
You really, oh my god, the way they have shaped our like humor is crazy. Because
it's
yeah,
'cause
I was also
it's
laughing at it.
so stupid. I think as well, like what we know them for now. Like I think again, it goes back to the whole ridiculousness. Why was this like middle-aged TV chef part of Dan's branding? Like, why was that a thing?
Hmm, no clue. On the on the topic of the Ban Marie thing, do you think I wonder, was Bake Off already a thing in 2012? I have no idea. Because
I
I
think it
imagine
was. I can quickly
it
Google.
must be like, yeah, it must be like an obsession with baking or cooking shows that
Maybe,
brought this knowledge to him. Because we
but he
know they
was.
don't cook and they don't bake.
But he was so excited to do this Ban Marie, and I'm like, sir, calm down. There is no need to be that
Uh,
excited. I'm trying to find out when it started. Come on, Wikipedia. 2010, yeah. So it would have been on.
oh,
That's crazy.
I yeah, really. I imagine because they love a good um, reality competition show sort of thing.
Yeah, they really do. Also, when they're actually doing the baking, it stresses me out so much
Mhm.
that they're holding all the bowls in front of the camera so that we can see them. I just wanted them to put them down on a surface and mix everything together like that. It was very stressful for me to watch them hold these bowls while like Phil poured things in and like mixed them up together. Nah,
Yeah,
stressful.
because it was spilling everywhere. Yeah, same. uh I was gonna say, oh, I want to defend them and say like they didn't have counter space, but like they had a phone and they were filming stuff on the phone, so they could have just done that instead
Exactly.
of showing the paper. Yeah, they're
So
so
stressful.
dumb. I do have this is like again like when it's baking, Phil like hits Dan with his, is it the llama or the lion hat? I think it's his lion hat. With
Yes.
like the the end of it and it says ball attack, and Dan like pauses and he's like, "You did not think that through, did you?" Soft launch of the game. That's another one.
So true. Yes. I have another quote that I wrote, and I watched this morning before I went to work. I didn't write what the quote was
Mm-hmm.
about. I think maybe it's during this bit where they're playing with the balls on their hats. Um, and I don't even know who says it. God, I'm so great at making notes for this podcast. One of them says "soft and squishy like a breast." I think it's Dan that says that.
It was just before that.
It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
just
it was
before
just
that,
before
and I'm
that.
like, okay, why are we talking about breasts? Like, we know that you don't like breasts, Dan. Not at this time,
It
obviously.
was the
Please, I just want to
yeah,
preface, we know that he wasn't out at this time. I did mean that to come across
yes,
in a bad way. But yeah. I'm like, sir, please don't talk
yeah.
about breasts. Not in front of me.
um and the fact that they like feel like pause, because these are things that they can sort of say and then cut away from, but they kept the part where Phil was like, I like that you said breast and I said cat. Um it's like, just move on. Like, just can we keep going? We don't want to acknowledge any of this.
No.
So yeah.
So they've baked the brownies now. So I've just got some notes about them decorating the brownies. Firstly, they got so into decorating that graveyard. It was really adorable. I found it really sweet, and they were having such a fun time together.
Oh, I did too actually. They really love decorating after baking. I think they bake just so they can get to decorate and then eat, obviously, but
they were having such a good time. Like, Phil had got the cookies and they'd got the icing and like they'd got the little decorations, and Phil did a little gravestone that said R.I.P. Simon on it. Oh, it was such lovely memories.
I know I love how much Dan and Phil like reference themselves. I mean, we know this, like they love saying like, oh, deep lore, and they had the entirety of Tatanov or whatever, but I really love that. I was gonna say like I had that in my notes as well, the R.I.P. Simon. So fun.
As we've said, they are
I
their
also
own
like
biggest
the
fans.
YOLO. Yes. I also like the YOLO. It was very 2012, but
very 2012,
very
very on
funny.
brand for Dan to do that. And then again, we've got the clip of Dan eating the brownie at the end, and he makes the most disgusting sex noises, and he's
Ungodly.
like, I'm gonna need a minute, please, like just give me 5 minutes alone with this brownie. I'm like, please, this is amazing film. This is a PG channel. This is supposed to be family friendly.
Speaking of that, he did not care that he was swearing so much. Like,
No.
I thought he might restrain himself, but no. Throughout the video, I mean, like he was swearing so much.
Yeah.
Poor Phil, needing to censor all of that.
Maybe that's why it took so long to edit. To edit out all of Dan's swears.
Maybe.
That was the real reason why it took so long.
I'm sure. Just like all of the inappropriateness that we didn't get to see or hear, I should say.
Honestly, I mean, we saw how unhinged the Baking Slime and Sadness Cinnamon Rolls video was. Like, what were they editing out back in 2012? Do you know what I mean? Like, how much were they holding back?
Exactly. Like, especially because baking videos bring out the most euphemisms and like innuendos out of them. Like you said, like the cinnamon rolls one, but also before that, like we talked about the post baking video, or was it post baking universe?
Yes, the post baking
From the
universe
cake
after.
pops.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was pre coming out as well. So we know how they get, and this is the tamest baking video ever. Like it's nothing compared to what we're gonna get into later on.
We didn't know what was coming. With that, the meme of that lady, and she's like, "Honey, you got a big storm coming."
Exactly. I don't think they knew either. Like none of the.
I definitely not.
There's a few, like obviously like the reading out of ingredients and stuff, that's like tradition that has stayed on, but the introduction, especially, I wanted to talk about this. The introduction of the video is so casual, but then it goes to, I think, but then they start being dramatic with it, where Phil does like a whole introduction. He's like, dim the lights, bring a pumpkin or whatever, and then Dan does it on his channel, and then it keeps going on and on. But this is just like, I feel like they definitely didn't know that this was going to be a thing every year.
Yeah. And I'm glad that it did become a thing. I think Halloween baking is the thing, and I need Halloween baking every year in my life now.
Same. They made a mistake bringing it back.
They really did.
Now
I can't even imagine how insane the content, how much more insane the content that we're going to get from them is going to be. Like, if you, like, even like last year, if you'd said like some of the videos, like if you told me like last year we were going to get them reacting to Pin Off, I'd have been like, absolutely not. Like, I know they're a bit crazy now, but we're never going to get them reacting to Pin Off. And then where's the line? Like, how far are they going to go? Do you know what I mean? Like, what are we going to end 2024 with?
I know exactly what you mean, like 100%. Because, yeah, like what? I don't think I can even fathom like what we could possibly get.
I think one of my favourite things about them is that, like, they've always, like, each year, they've taken things up another level. And you sit there, like, so you'd sit there, like, the next year and you'd be like, oh my God, like, I can't believe the things they did last year. Like, there's no way that they can top that this year. And then they go and top it, and then you'll come to the next year and be like, wow, like they did so much last year. Like there's no way they're gonna top that big like news, or
Yeah.
they're gonna top that big announcement, and then they do, and every single year it's just one more thing after another. Obviously we had the hiatus and things sort of slowed down a little bit then, but then since they've come back, like since they came out and everything like that, it's just been up, 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 up and up, and like where's the limit? When is it gonna stop?
When is it gonna? I hope, and I think they're right now the most creatively sort of stimulated. I don't know if that's the
Yeah,
right word. I think the most driven they've ever been, which is so crazy because they've done 2 tours together and Dan has done one more. But in terms of like their content, they just go 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 and like touch wood. I hope I hope we have content for years to come. Like I'm
me
enjoying
too.
myself so much. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just crazy. Like, what's the next big Dan and Phil thing going to be? Do you know what I mean? Like, what on earth could they possibly surprise us with this year?
I know. Like, what if they got in store? Is it going to be something that they put on the back burner before, or is it something completely new?
Who knows?
Exciting times.
Either way, very excited.
Yeah.
Shall we jump
Yeah.
into some outfit reviews, Fizz?
Let's do that.
So, Dan is wearing a very classic, I think it's an All Saints. Actually, no, maybe it's an Alexander McQueen. Either way, it's a black t-shirt, it's got a skull on it, and from me, it's getting an 8 out of 10. I think, again, he looks nice in black. It's a very classic Dan t-shirt. I think it suits him. So it's getting a high, but not too high, 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10 is really good. I was gonna give him a 7 for the same reasons. I think he looks really good. I think this era of Dan of wearing like black t-shirts with something sort of emo on it, uh, very classic, good branding. But in terms of Halloween styling, it gets better. Like
Oh,
they
yeah.
they make it a thing and it gets better.
I hadn't
So
even
for
thought about
for
that.
that, like exactly. So for that little bit, I am scoring it a little bit low.
That's fair.
What about Phil?
So Phil was wearing his Gengar t-shirt. This is, I think, a classic Phil t-shirt. He looks great in purple. He should wear purple more often. So for me, I think it's not a 9 because it's still just a graphic t-shirt. So, but maybe an 8.5.
Yeah. I feel like you're being so generous with these because again, I was gonna give him like a 7, 7 point. I was gonna give them both like a 7, 7.5 for the exact same reasons.
Oh, okay.
Because I know it gets better. I know it gets better. That's why.
I think it's just because he looks nice in purple. Also, there was, I think it was a Tumblr post that went round literally like last month or something, or it was a post on Twitter of all of the Gengoff themed things that are in their flat house, whatever, and how so many of them are like Phil's, but Dan's favourite Pokemon is Gengar. There's this whole like thing about it, and it was very like I want to rip my heart out and sort of boil wash it kind of vibes.
I know exactly what you mean. I did not see that tweet, but I know exactly how you feel because I felt that before.
Yeah, I think it was
Oh
maybe a
my
Tumblr
god,
post or a
I
tweet. I
completely
can't
forgot.
remember. I'll try and find it and I can send it to you to look at later.
Yes, yes, please. I also want to what did you say? Rip my heart out?
And
Boil it
boil
with
wash it.
water?
Yeah,
Boil
that sounds
wash
like
it, sure. I'm in the mood for that. So yes, please do send it to me. There's also
excellent.
Gengar in the background of this video,
There is,
which I think
yeah.
is excellent. Excellent set production or whatever. Good job. Good job, Dan Phil, on that.
And finally, shall we move on to our ratings for the video. Fizz, how many brownies out of 10 are you giving this video? How many brownie points, one might say? Ha 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 ha.
I'm gonna use a quote from the video, and I'm gonna say 1,000,000 out of 10. I love this video. It's
1,000,000 out
obviously
of 10. Wow.
nostalgia. Yes, obviously nostalgia is my first video. But I think
That's
it's just
fair.
excellent. Like, it's just so good. I still laugh. The brownies are actually, I repeat, make these brownies. They're so good, and they're also easy to make. So, do it.
I haven't made these brownies. Maybe I should make them.
Definitely, I recommend.
If Dan and Phil can make them, so can I.
Literally, and if I can make them, you can. Like, I'm not a baker at all, and I made these when I've made these multiple times. So yes, do it. So yeah, 1,000,000 out of 10. What about you, Charlotte? How many brownie points would you give this out of 10? Or brownies?
I feel like I've got to match your 1,000,000 out of 10 now. I'm gonna give it a very, very respectful 8 out of 10. 8.5.
Why? What do you have?
I think because it's like, it's very good, but again, I feel like we do this to all the videos, like knowing what's to come, like it's so hard to sort of rate some higher. Like, it is a very good baking video. So yeah, I'm going to say give it an 8.5. It is very good. It is very funny. I do remember sort of watching it when it was uploaded, and really enjoying it. And it is still a very good baking video. I think it still stands the test of time. But I think just in general, out of the other sort of joint content that we're going to be getting coming up, yeah, just very sort of high quality joint content.
For sure. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I think maybe we should try to put aside all of the other videos we're going to get into.
Yeah, I think we should. It's so hard to, like, how am I supposed to rate this a 10 out of 10 knowing we've got Slime and Sadness cinnamon rolls out there in the world?
I know. And just like cake pops as well, like, is so high. Damn it. But we'll try to like
be objective.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, imagine that we're in 2012 and we have no other baking videos to compare it to.
Jesus. Yeah, exactly. For sure. Next time. Okay, so that was Halloween baking Brownie Graveyard.
It was
from 2012. Yeah.
I was.
What's next? Do you know what's next?
I don't know what's next. I was hoping you'd be able to tell me, Fizz.
I will tell you what's next. No worry, because I had a look. I had a look for once before the episode. Because I always forget. So our next video is a joint video, but it's not on Dan or Phil's channel.
Interesting. Okay, where is it going?
Do you have any idea? No.
No.
All right. Okay. So we're gonna do Foursome Twister next time.
Oh my god! Yes. Oh, I'm so excited for this. I remember this being uploaded, and I remember losing my mind.
Exactly, right? Exactly.
This would be a good one to get a guest on. Fun. So maybe if you're listening to this, if you want to come and talk to us about this, if you have good knowledge of the Fantastic Foursome, get in touch. We'll put a tweet out as well. But please, come and join us. That would be really fun.
That would be so fun because we have so much to discuss in terms of like the Fantastic Foursome and that bit of history. But yeah, exciting times.
Excellent. Yeah, go follow us on Twitter. Well, X, whatever you want to call it now. At Best Phriends Club Pod. I'm just going to go check that. Yes. I should probably know what the name of our username is. God, we're so
I think it's Best Friends Club.
Best Friends Pod. No, just Best Friends Pod. It's just Best Friends Pod. Go follow us on Twitter, Best Friends Pod. Follow us on Tumblr. That's Best Friends Club Pod. Let us know what you thought of the episodes. If you want to join us to be a guest on an episode, let us know. And we'll see you all next time.
We'll see you next time. Thank you for listening. Bye. Bye.